Cathedral. After dinner, the man's wife falls asleep, so the man and Robert smoke cigarettes and watch TV together. Robert starts to open up about his life and experiences. During this time, the man determines that there's much more to Robert than his disability. He even begins to see the world from the blind man's perspective. The TV program that they're watching introduces some cathedrals around the world. Robert asks the man to describe a cathedral to him. The man tries to do so by using vivid detail, but it is difficult for him to find the right words. Robert then takes the man's hand and guides him in drawing a cathedral on a paper bag. He encourages him to keep drawing even when he thinks he's done. As they continue to draw, the man feels connected with Robert. He realizes that he has been blind in his own way. He has been unable to see the value in his life and relationships.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to English for You. I'm Mike.
I'm Chickling.
And today we are in day 2, the middle part of our 3-day story for this month called Cathedral. This is a short story originally written by Raymond Carver, a famous American author. And this story is not about a really large church. Well, it is kind of. We're going to get to that a little bit later. But really, it's about an evening that a man, his wife, and a blind man named Robert are spending together. Now, the blind man Robert and the wife of this couple are old friends, right? They were pen pals.
Yeah. For a long time.
For a long time. But her husband, the man who's the narrator, who's telling or narrating the story, he's never met Robert. And I think, Chicolin, you could say it's safe to say he hasn't been looking forward to this whole evening.
No, of course not, because he finds it quite uncomfortable being with this with this guy. Yeah.
He feels awkward, self-conscious. He's never spent time with a blind person or something like that. He's afraid to say the wrong thing. He's in his own home, but he feels very uncomfortable in his own home. And so he's also maybe kind of blaming Robert for, why are you making me feel like this? And why'd you have to come over and cause all this trouble? But really, it's about the man. It's not about Robert. It's about the man not being, maybe ready to spend time or not having the experience of spending time with a person like Robert. Robert is not doing anything wrong at all. He's being a perfect guest. So let's get to our story. We've already learned about they've already spent some time. I think they had a meal together. They ate dinner. And we jump into the story right around that time, after dinner. It says, after dinner, the man's wife falls asleep. So the man and Robert smoke cigarettes and watch TV together. All right, so it's late in the evening. I guess they had a good conversation over dinner, at least Robert and the man's wife, who are sort of old friends, but meeting for the first time maybe. They had a great time. The wife was probably busy, cooking and cleaning or whatever, so she falls asleep. And Robert spends a bit more time with the man, so it's just him and the man together, and they're smoking cigarettes and watching TV together. This is something people might do in the evening to relax, although I don't think many people smoke cigarettes these days as much as they used to, or watch TV. People might spend more time doing something healthy while looking at their cell phone. Cigarettes are those small sort of sticks made of tobacco with paper wrapped around. You light them, you smoke them, and you should probably quit. For example, Wally quit smoking cigarettes 3 years ago, and he feels much healthier today. Good for you, Wally.
Yeah, 所以 cigarettes 就是香烟，所以晚饭后呢，妻子睡着了，丈夫跟盲人就一起抽烟看电视。I find it kind of strange because like when you have a guest in your home, you don't just go to sleep.
But it does help us move the story along a little bit because now the man and Robert can only be together. And it seems that Robert is perfectly comfortable. As we read, it says Robert starts to open up about his life and experiences. He's a friendly guy. He loves to meet new people. He maybe doesn't know the man man is uncomfortable. So he's telling the man about his life and his experiences.
Wow.
He's sort of, showing more and more of his personality, I guess you could say.
所以 open up about something 就是去倾吐心声，所以你对谁倾吐呢？你可以加一个 to。比如说 Lillian opened up to Frank about her bisexuality， 所以代表说 Lillian 就是跟 Frank 坦白说，我是双性恋这件事情。好，所以呢 Robert 就开始聊起了自己的生活跟经验。
All right, during this time, the man determines that there's much more to Robert than his disability. He comes to realize that there's much more to Robert than his disability. Robert is not just a blind man. He's much more interesting, much more complicated than that. And this is something that the man decides after spending a bit of time and learning more about Robert. We determine things when we learn more facts, right? You can determine things by looking up information, by, looking it up on Google or in the library. You can determine things by, getting more information or news about something, and then you kind of make your own decisions, you make your own judgments on things like that. But it takes more information and often a bit of time and thinking before you sort of come to a decision about what to think about something. For example, scientists determined that the body which was found in the forest last week is a small monkey and not an alien as was first reported.
OK， 所以 determine 这边是确定的意思，所以可以说 determine that， 然后怎么样一个句子代表确定了什么，但是也有决定或影响的意思。比如说老师刚刚说是不是不能抽烟，所以 what we do, what we eat， 这些我们吃的东西跟做的事情都会影响到我们健康，所以我们造一个句子 Our health is determined in part by what you eat or what we do。它也可以当下定决心的意思啦。比如说 Lydia was determined to prove everyone wrong.
So after spending some time with with Robert, the man, the husband, realizes that A, Robert is a much more interesting person. He's not just a blind man. He's much more than that. And he also learns from Robert as Robert talks about what it's like to live being blind, He even begins to see the world from the blind man's perspective.
Oh. 所以呢，这个丈夫其实发现 Robert 他不只是一个残疾人士而已，他还有很多其他大家不知道的面向。当然，每个人都是这样子的。所以，这个字呢 ，perspective 是角度或观点的意思。我们文章出现了 from someone's perspective， 代表是从某人的观点来看。不过，我们有时候也可以讲成 to get something or to keep something in perspective， 意思就是说呢，去正确的看待或者是合理的评价某一件事情。比如说 We must get things in perspective. The situation isn't really that bad. 所以呢，这个男生呢，他就开始站在了 Robert 的角度来看这个世界哦。
All right, so as the man and Robert are chatting and smoking, remember they were also watching television, and the TV program, or the television show, that they're watching, it says the TV program that they're watching introduces some cathedrals around the world. All right, there's our title, Cathedral. It's finally entered into our story. So they're watching a show about these famous big old churches from around the world.
对，所以终于了，我们的故事 title 来了。我刚刚想说，第一天怎么都没有看到 Cathedral 的东西，第二天就有咯。所以他们两个在干嘛呢？他们在看一个电视节目，然后这个节目在介绍了一些世界上的大教堂。
Now, as they're watching it, remember, Robert, he can hear what the people are talking about on the TV show, but he can't see the pictures because, yes, he's blind. So Robert asks the man to describe a cathedral to him. Robert might say, I know it's a really big church, but can you give me an idea of what it looks like? Because I've never actually seen one. It says, the man tries to do so by using vivid detail, but it is difficult for him to find the right words. So imagine you're looking at a picture of a cathedral and you're trying to paint a picture using words for someone who can't see the picture. And of course, if you want to make it come alive, you want to use the best words to describe them and make it very vivid. If something is vivid, it's very clear. For example, the book described the scene in such vivid detail that I felt like I was there, or I felt like I was watching a movie and I could see it, even though I was just reading words about it.
So vivid 就是清晰的，所以如果生动的想象就是 vivid imagination。比如说 her vivid imagination often gave her inspiration for writing songs. 所以我们的课文包含了今天的 language and focus， 你们先来看一下。 所以呢，讲到的是什么呢？ It is 加上一个形容词 for someone to do something， 这个指的就是呢，对某人来说做什么事情是怎么样的。比如说 It's important for drivers to follow traffic rules on the roads。驾驶在道路上，我们遵守交通规则是相当重要的。那我们也可以讲 It is common for people， 对人们来说呢，怎么是很常见的呢？ It is common for people to feel nervous before taking an exam。 考试前感到紧张是很正常的。又或者是呢 It is impolite not to greet someone when you meet them。 如果呢看到一个人不跟人家打招呼，其实是不太礼貌的。那么否定句呢，我们只需要在不定词 to 前面加上 not 就 OK 咯。可是呢，我们的英语母语人士呢，我们常常会说to not do something 来取代 not to do something。可以用类似句型呢来表示一个人的作为展现了他的人格特质啊、品性、态度等等。这个时候介系词就会使用 of。那么常使用的呢，就是比如说 generous, brave, silly, rude, foolish, careless 等等这一些形容词。譬如说 It was kind of Polly to donate money to charity。代表说 Polly 呢，她是非常善良的、有善心的，捐钱给这一个慈善会哦。所以呢，罗伯特啊，就请这个男人向这个 Robert 描述了一座大教堂是什么样子的。所以这个男子呢，他就试图用很生动的细节去描述，可是却很难找到适合来描述这个大教堂的词哦。So what can he do about it if he can really find the right words?
Well, that's a challenge, isn't it? I mean, if you think about how do you describe what something looks like to a person who's never seen it before or can't see it all. So Robert then takes the man's hand and guides him in drawing a cathedral on a paper bag. So Robert comes up with an idea, which is to draw a cathedral together with the man. So Robert asks the man, of course, the man who can see, to find a pen and something to draw on. That's why they come up with the paper bag. When the man comes back with the bag and the pen, Robert then closes his hand and on the man's hand and guides the man. To guide is basically to help someone move in a particular direction. You can guide someone just by using information, like if you tell someone how to find a certain place. But if you actually touch the person, maybe you take them by the hand, maybe you sort of push them gently with your hand on their back or lead them by the arm, you're guiding someone. Sometimes this would be especially useful if the person can't see, maybe the person is a little old and they can't move quickly or they have to be careful when they move. You can guide them in that way by actually using your body to show their body, or at least a part of their body, how to go, where to go, and how to do it in the right way. For example, we could say the man took the old lady's arm and guided her across the busy road.
所以 guide 就是引导的意思嘛，是吧？那我们可以说，比如说 guide 这个字是当动词哦，可是当名词就有指南手册的意思。比如说你去饭店就会有一个 hotel guide， 那你去旅行也会有一个 travel guide 旅行指南。那么去旅行的时候也会有导游嘛，如果你跟团的话，那导游的英文就是 tour guide。比如说 she was previously employed as a tour guide。所以Robert 就接着就握住了这一个男生的手，那呢引导他在纸袋上画了一个大教堂。
All right, so it seems the man is starting to kind of enjoy this, and Robert is also getting a lot from it. He encourages him to keep drawing, even when he thinks he's done. When you encourage someone, you use words to give them energy, to give them power, to make them believe in themselves. You can do it. You're going to be the best. I believe in you. That kind of thing. For example, Felicity's mom always encouraged her interest in hip-hop dancing.
So encourage 就是鼓励或激励，那么呢，我们后面加一个 d 就是感到被鼓励到的 ，encouraging 就是令人感到被鼓舞到的。那么名词就是 encouragement， 比如说 He was greatly encouraged by the support he received， or I gave her an encouraging pat on the shoulder。这个东西，因为我让他感到鼓舞了嘛，所以我们使用 ing。那么我们也可以讲 The teacher's words were a great encouragement to the students。 好，所以即便这个男子呢认为这个 Cathedral 已经画完了，但是 Robert 还是继续鼓励男子继续画下去哦。
All right, so as they continue to draw together, the man starts to change. His emotions and feelings start to change. It says as they continue to draw, the man feels connected with Robert. Of course, he's connected physically, but also emotionally. He feels much closer to Rob.
OK. 所以画画的过程中呢，这个男生就渐渐感受到跟 Robert 的连结哦。
There you go. If you spend time with people and share some experiences, it's only natural to feel some connection, to feel connected with them. The man has been thinking about himself at the same time. He realizes that he has been blind in his own way. He has been unable to see the value in his life and relationships. He's taken his life, his relationships, as we would say, he's taken them for granted. He hasn't seen how valuable they are, how important they are, how much he gets from them. So he's sort of, appreciating the fact that having friends and making connections with people is a very special part of our lives. We might not notice it all the time, but we definitely should. What is a relationship? Yeah, it's basically just a connection or an association between people. It can be a family relationship, maybe a really close family relationship, like mother to child or brother to sister, possibly. You could have other family relationships, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts. You can have friendships. Those are relationships. You can have work and school relationships. People you're not friends with, but you get along with. You know them. You might even have a relationship with someone down at the 7-Eleven. Every time you go in, they're like, oh, hi. And you're like, hi. You don't even know their name. So relationships come in all shapes and sizes, but these are just connections between people. For example, Derek has always had a very close relationship with his grandfather. The two of them go fishing almost every weekend.
So relationship 就是关系，不只是指感情，人际关系也是可以的哦。所以呢，这一个，他就意识到自己在某种程度上就是也是个盲人，因为他自己一直看不到自己的生活跟人际关系的价值哦。所以呢 that leads us to our For You Chat question for today. Have you ever had an experience that has made you think differently about things? Can you talk about it?
Let's see, what could I say? Well, anytime I hurt my body, like if I break something, you appreciate having two hands that work.
I agree.
Or having
True.
legs or feet that you can walk around on quickly and easily, things like that. One time I had a problem in my neck and like sleeping and sitting and, walking around. Everything was so painful. And so, sometimes if you do have a physical problem, you realize that there are other people out there who have to live like this all the time. And that's another way of appreciating the things that you have, your relationship with your body.
Right.
You start to appreciate. How about you?
I don't know. I used to be a pessimist.
Okay.
Yeah, but right now I think positively.
Good.
Because I try to think about other people, and everybody has their own problems.
It's true, yeah.
Right, so
if you ever feel bad about your life, just turn on the news and you'll see people in other parts of the world.
And it's not like that we see them be having a miserable life, we feel happy. No, it's not like that. It's that we all have our problems.
Absolutely.
So we have to look at things on the bright
things
side.
Things could definitely be worse, no doubt. Yeah, that's definitely true. All right, guys, that's all the time we have, but there is one more day with Cathedral, so come back and join us for that. Vocabulary Review.
Cigarette. Brian often goes outside and smokes a cigarette when he gets stressed at work. Determine. The police carefully examined the crime scenes to determine the identity of the thief. Vivid. The smell of freshly baked cookies always brings back vivid memories of childhood. I still remember how my mom used to make them. Guide. The yellow blocks on this sidewalk have bumps to help guide blind people away from danger. Encourage. Nola encourages her younger students to speak English by teaching them pop songs and playing games. Relationship. The principal of our school has a good relationship with all the students. He talks to us and always takes part in the school activities.
智慧小补帖
Perspective.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。 如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net